Hey guys, so the PSEI moved up, zoomed up today. What does it mean? What's its implications? Is it enough to bring the market much higher? Check this out. So the market closed at 7383, which accomplished a very large movement up, accompanied also by relatively significant volume as well. For those who've been following the videos, you know that I'm a big follower of volume, that volume precedes price, that for every movement, the larger the volume, the better, the larger the value turnover. It shows you a larger conviction. It shows you that people believe, or investors believe, that this area is a significant area for you to buy already. But let's break it down further. Is this strong enough to actually reverse the underlying trend? Let's take it one by one. Number one, it's this. The movement up does not in any means yet show us that the trend has changed. It just shows us that as close to the market is to 7,000, 7,100, you are relatively close to the support already. Please remember, from 7 to 7.1 up against where it was just a few weeks ago, 7.8, 7.9, it's relatively cheap already. Not cheap enough to make it so compelling to a lot of investors, or especially foreign investors, but cheap enough for those who have not, for locals who have not positioned yet and want a quick punt or something that's relatively cheaper. Second is this. I've mentioned this in several videos prior to this, that the market is already oversold, meaning a lot of investors have sold it down. It's an opportunity for some knee-jerk reactions to bring the markets at least at the temporary movement up, and that's what we're seeing right now. The movement that you're seeing right now is because the market is oversold. The movement that you're seeing right now was because it was oversold as close as it can to the support level. So now, what does that actually mean? It actually means this: because of that movement, because of that bounce, we may expect the market to challenge the 7.4, 7.5 resistance again. So if it fails to go and break past that, there's a possibility that this upward movement will be short-lived. There's a possibility that this upward movement will just be for a couple of swings, then it goes back down again close to the 7.1, 7,000 levels. Please remember also, no, if I've made videos saying that markets cannot go up forever, in the same way, in the same manner, in the same fashion, markets cannot just stay down forever as well. There will come a point in time where people who will find it so oversold already will start to come in, and that's what we saw today. That's what happened in the markets today. It's not enough yet to call it a reversal, but it's enough to call it that it could be a bounce that will bring it as close as it can to 7,500. Now, if it breaks past 7.5, again, all bets are back to where it was supposed to be. It will try to attack again the 7.8, 7.9 resistance level. So a lot of the oscillators still are showing us that we're still bearish. We still haven't reversed. Please remember this: one day's movement does not define a trend. One day's movement is not enough also to give a firm conviction that something has changed in the underlying movement. Please remember, nothing has changed in our fundamentals yet. I think the movement up is also under the context now that people are already underpinning that the BSP will raise rates next week, this September 27, that they will raise it possibly from 0.25 by 0.25 or 0.5 basis points, bringing our interest rates to either 4.25 or 4.5. Again, I've created several videos on what's the impact of this to loans and interest rates later on. But what this does, though, on a short-term perspective, is it makes the peso more valuable. It places a premium also to the peso already, which will allow investors to, hey, put money back to the Philippines or stay in peso denominated investments because of this appreciation. So I think that's what the BSP is trying to do. It's just trying to make the peso more valuable so that it protects it against the US dollar that continues to make its way to around 55. So this one is the BSP trying to intervene and defend our currency as well. Let's see how it impacts other areas, because you have to remember also, the more we import that the dollar is high, it will have a direct impact in inflation. So if the dollar goes relatively lower, it somehow has it will somehow help limit our imports to have a higher cost, and it will impact inflation, that it can taper it off for a bit. Is it strong enough to be able to prevent the inflation to go from 7 to 8. We'll have to see what will be the effects of that, not now, but it will take probably a few months before that takes into effect as well. But it could be a catalyst, it could be a net positive for the market, but it's still too early to tell if this is enough to make us reverse. But either way, respect our resistance level. 7,475 to around 7,500 is our next resistance because of this movement up. Failure to break out of that, sell. Use this as a quick selling point because the market is still bearish. Next up, over the weekend, I'll try to make our stocks by request in the beach already. I'm flying out tomorrow, so keep your questions below. Whatever you want me to answer about stocks that you want to discuss, or any stock market specific questions, we'll answer it as well. So that's where the market is. Nothing much has changed fundamentally. It's just really a play for the BSP's raise in interest rates for next week. So that's it for now. Marvin Garmo. I hope this video helps you trade well, trade strong, trade smart. See you all again soon.